What's good? Hitori FX here. Welcome to the 28th episode of the weekly market outlook with Chase Prop. Now, in this episode, I will be covering the DXY, the S&P 500, gold, Bitcoin, WTI crude oil, as well as Euro Yen. If you have any other asset classes you would like me to cover, just leave a comment down below, or even better, join our free Discord where you can talk to me as well as the TradeX Prop team. Alright, so let's just get straight into the outlook. Yeah, so here we have the DXY, and just talking a bit about DXY. Last week we had this large rally higher, and this is just a continuation of just how bullish we have been on this asset class for a long time. Ever since actually the end of September, we've been bullish, as you can see from this large momentum leg higher. So before I touch on the technicals, I actually want to get into a bit of the fundamentals, trying to dumb it down a bit for a more long-term outlook, because I personally think that while you could be very, very profitable using just technicals, I do kind of like tell people to still incorporate at least some form of fundamentals into their analysis, because it kind of shows to you what you could expect coming into the markets, and you kind of use that alongside your technicals to see any form of confirmation. So with that in mind, the DXY currently is at around 106, right? It's been surging like crazy, and it's the highest it's ever been ever since April. Actually, it's been erasing, this entire move has erased the large downward trend we've seen for a few months now. And just seeing how long it took to get here, 94 days, around 3 months. It only took around 50 days for that to happen, so almost half of that time was cut short in this large bullish trend. So we now know that with Trump in victory, we can actually expect further dollar strength, which is a good thing actually for traders, because we like large movements like these. So, but before I talk about the implications of the elections, I do want to go over some data with you right now. So inflation data, actually came in as expected at around 2.6%, easing fears of a sharper rise, of course. But at the same time, also telling traders that the Fed has a target of 2%, which may see progress being slowed towards that 2% target. We saw our man JP, Jerome Powell. The comments that he gave was actually pretty hawkish. He suggested that interest rate cuts next year, they could potentially be slower than expected. And if you look at things like the bond markets as well, here we have the US bond 10-year yields right here. It's already priced in this large movement higher, because normally when you look at the dollar, you would also look at the yield to kind of see, is it going to be showcasing to us some further insights on where the dollar might head. And at the moment, we're at this 4.468% area of structure. Here we are, and we could potentially see a pullback. But this recent uptick in the 10-year yield has also provided support and further confluence to push the DXY higher. So looking at the dollar right now, it's at the same level of resistance that we saw just now at on the 10-year yield, and just purely off the charts as of now, we are trapped between two levels, right? We're trapped between this previous area of resistance turn support, and we're also trapped between this area of structure all the way back from October of last year, and we're finding some pressure in terms of the sellers. So within this range, there's not much you could do just based off the daily, but if we do break above 107, we could see price continue higher into the end ranges of 107.848. We do have some level of structure right here. If we just zoom in, it was a previous level of support. Price broke through those wicks, came up, found something here, and then rebounded lower from there. So now if we do break above this area, you could expect price to kind of mirror that previous move up. It's around a close to 800 tick range, so definitely a range you could play in. But if we do break beneath it, potentially from just a slight correction of this large move higher, if we draw a fib from this swing low to this swing high, it's potentially making, if we do see a pullback from here, breaking both of these supports, continuing lower, we could pull back into some levels right around the discounted range of this entire bullish move. And as of now, the nearest levels I'd say of support is around 104.34. But if we do remove this, if we do come up to here at around 105.155, we could see some support being formed as well. Okay, of course, these are just the historical levels I'm seeing as of now. I don't know where it's going to find support at, but if you do see a pullback breaking these supports, I'll be waiting to see support being formed right here before I consider a continued long into some of these new areas of resistance up top. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the DXY. Just waiting to see what levels we could see potential pullbacks at if you were to pull back. But if you don't pull back, it's also fine. We could just come into some of these areas of structure right here of potential support, and then if we do see some low time frame, like maybe like a 4-hour or a 1-hour confirmation, to see that push higher into these levels of nearby resistances as well. But obviously still bullish on the dollar. It's a great time for traders to get involved right now because of all this crazy movements in the market. So definitely something for you to look at. But let's take a look at what news releases we have next week. Here we don't have any news releases from Monday all the way through Wednesday, but on Thursday, this is in Malaysian local time, we do have unemployment claims at around 9:30 p.m. and also Friday we have flash manufacturing PMI, which is the purchasing managers index right here. So we have two news releases, high impact, coming here at the end of the week. So definitely waiting to see what Monday and Wednesday can provide, because we have slightly big momentum coming in during these times of high impact news releases. So curious to see if we do see any momentum shifting coming in on Monday to Wednesday. If we do break these levels, Thursday could be like let me just clear this off real quick. If we do see price coming down, maybe on Monday to Wednesday, to like a key level structure right here, and Thursday we could see price fly potentially if the data agrees with the whole bullish dollar idea. But as of now, we're still waiting for that to come out. Okay, so next up we have the S&P 500. Let me pull that up right here. So stocks we should also pretty much be bullish on stocks and indexes altogether. We don't think that, I don't think that we are going to see a bearishness come in anytime soon, other than for purposes of pullbacks. The price action on the S&P is really clean. Okay, we're seeing steady, like a staircase type of movement, just lower highs and lower lows being formed, and really clean structure points, which I personally am a big fan of. Okay, so surprisingly, even though just a bit touching up on the side of the fundamentals, retail sales, they came in really strong, stronger than expected. That shows that the general consumers' spending power are, it's pretty good. But surprisingly, the stock market didn't react that well. We did see the S&P dip on a Friday, and Thursday as well. We dipped around 2%, and this kind of intrigues a lot of traders, or investors. Why is it when retail sales is good, but we're not seeing that strength translate over to indices? Well, I don't exactly know the reason why, but something could be linked to just Powell's comment. How he made it clear that there is at the moment no rush to cut rates. Okay, investors, they wanted kind of like a candy bar, but at the moment maybe the time isn't right for that yet. So with rates not being cut, people are likely to push money into the dollar, because they get interest from that high interest savings, and it's very low risk. So things like bonds and the dollars, they're gonna get a lot of money being pumped into them, especially from lower risk traders, right? They don't want to put too much risk on the table. They would prefer to put it into the dollar, which is why we see the dollar rising like crazy. So but we could see that being cancelled out either way by Trump being in office. Certain shares and stocks have been rising crazy. Tesla being one of them. If I pull that up real quick, I do have a few key levels here, but I don't personally go. I won't go over stocks on this weekly outlook. Maybe that's something that intrigues other people, but Tesla just rose crazy. So a lot of the shares that we see are going to be, certain shares at least, are going to be seeing a large money inflow into them, so that in turn will also raise their prices. But just a bit coming back into the S&P 500, we have found some area of resistance around 6k, the 6k mark, and then we're seeing this large sell-off. Maybe some people deemed that this is too high of a price for them and they would like to cut off their position, so they took some profits. But I think that whenever you see markets that are so overextended like these, a pullback is bound to happen. If not a pullback, then probably a form of correction before a continued move higher. Okay, so right now we're at this support at 5,800 based off the ONA data feed, and I know this may vary from broker to broker as well as from futures to CFDs, but as of now, based on the ONA data feed, we are finding some rejections off of this area, and I'm curious to see if we could see some bounce higher back to retest this level. It's definitely clean. We do have clean traffic, clean candles to support this move, but if we do break beneath this level, we could see price potentially coming back all the way down to retest this support at 5.7k. Okay, so levels are really clean on the S&P. I'm curious, and I'm really looking forward to trading this market next week when the market opens, off of course, clear high time frame daily candle closures followed by low time frame confirmations. All right, so that is the S&P 500. Next up, we have gold on the list, one of my favorite things to trade. Yeah, after Trump won, we saw this large sell-off on gold because now people are more risk on. They're willing to put their money into higher risk assets like stocks or indices or crypto even, because as we all know, Donald Trump is a big advocate for crypto, and when Donald Trump is in power, you can really expect a time of just high randomness. A tweet, a message, a statement can really move the markets, especially from a person with a lot of influence like Trump himself. So when these things happen, people capped out. We saw some profit taking and also people just shifting their money from industry to industry. Okay, so just clean this off the chart. So gold has been on a super crazy move lower. I specifically remember when Trump won, it did around 9 like 4%, 3% crazy movements down, and we are seeing that kind of brought over from the election all the way till last week. We just saw a large sell on gold. So the question now stands is that, am I still bullish on gold? Well, quite frankly, I'm always bullish on gold. I see every pullback on gold as a better price to get into for really long-term holdings on ETFs, stuff like that. But for the short run, is the bull trend over? And I think potentially yes. I do think that gold can definitely correct more of its move, coming down back into some of these large structure points to potentially see some support from. But as of now, definitely gold is not in a bright spot. Okay, we are coming down into the 2.5k level mark right here, and we're finding some support at this previous level of structure. So I'm curious to see if we can potentially see a pullback correcting this large move into maybe this previous level of resistance to continue lower, or if we break above it, we could come into some of these levels to continue lower. Either way, I am short-term bearish on gold until we come back maybe into this level of structure, this large range of consolidation right here. We could definitely see some support being found. It is a 22, this is a 2000 point range, so definitely I could see price coming back down into this range, taking out all of these lows right here before continuing higher. But as of now, if we do reject this level, definitely could see price do that next week, or if we break above it, definitely could see price retest some higher levels of resistance up top before seeing that short-term dip. Okay, but anywhere within this range, I'll be looking for price to come down here from some support, maybe break a previous level of resistance, and then continue higher from there if we were to have clean traffic like this to support that move. Alright, so that is it for gold. Moving on to Bitcoin. On the Coinbase data feed, Bitcoin is also a no-brainer for its bullishness ever since Trump won, and also since Elon Musk is a really obvious supporter of Trump. He's gone public and just say that he's a man by Trump's side. So Bitcoin at the moment for me is also super extended. If you draw this this range right here, at the moment we are seeing some stagnation before potentially reaching the big 100k mark. Here I have some levels marked out, mainly just potential psychological levels for price to react off of, but I definitely think we could reach 100k within the next few months. I don't know when, but I think this stagnation and this fake out could be a good run for Bitcoin to continue to the 100k mark. So it's kind of funny because if we do break this support, we do have clean traffic to support the move lower into some of these previous areas of structure. But just based on how the asset is trading, I would like to see a potential fake out because I am bullish on on Bitcoin. And if you look at its friend ETH, Ethereum, we're not really seeing that large of a movement. I mean, yeah, obviously we did see it rise up like almost 50%, but in terms of the long-term dominance, Bitcoin always has asserted its dominance, right? Much like gold against silver in traditional markets. And what's going to be pushing Bitcoin higher, I think, as of now, is not just this sentiment on Trump or on Elon Musk, but like other things, including things like favorable global economic conditions, such as lower oil prices, and also hopes for easing of just the overall geopolitical tensions. It could also be driving Bitcoin higher, right? To draw this Bitcoin higher to the 100k mark. So definitely still bullish on Bitcoin. Every dip I think is a great place to get involved in, but for some reason if we do break the support and we continue all the way down into around the 73k mark, as well as some of these structures right here, I think this is a great place for you to get involved in potential Bitcoin longs up onto 100k, right? I think this is a great place for you to get involved in the asset if you haven't already. We do offer crypto trading here at TradeXprop. Just a reminder, we are one of the only few firms that do offer it, so do take advantage of that by buying our funded accounts, or may I say challenge accounts. It's not funded yet. So yeah, still bullish on Bitcoin. If we do see this drop, I'll be looking at this as a potential fake out for price to go higher. But if we just keep going lower, the only time I'll be looking to get involved in longs again is if we form some support, break some resistance, a retest is ideal, but not necessarily. We have to see that retest to continue price higher in a bullish prediction, I'd say. Okay, now next we have WTI crude oil on the black bull market. We have actually broken beneath this layer of support around $67 per barrel, and we closed quite convincingly, clearing off this week's. I do see price continuing lower until the $66 mark before seeing a potential move higher. But if we do break this level, we could be eyeing the $65 mark, and if we do come lower than that, the $63 mark all the way at this wick right here could also be potentially retested. Okay, on the off chance that we do find support right here, depending on how we form, we could see a retest of 68, and if we break above that, we do have clean traffic to support this move higher into the $72 range, or even up to this wick fill at the $73 range right here. So definitely a good time to be looking at crude oil. I'll be setting alerts myself at this level. If we push off it, we could see some short-term longs into this area of resistance, or maybe some of these areas right here could also provide a potential support, breaks becomes resistance type stuff. But intraday longs are good, but if you do break above 68, definitely be looking for short-term longs, for better longs up into $72. All right, so the next pair is actually just an update on the pound, GBP, JPY on pound yen, which I won't be covering today, but we did see this breakout of the support of this range really, and we could see it being a fake out, but at the same time, if we do continue lower, these lows could be targeted right here. But the main pair I want to focus on today is actually on the euro yen, because we're seeing that same large bearish candle right here on the daily off of the ONDA data feed. So some of the key reasons I want to focus on the euro yen is because I am actually expecting the euro to continue higher off a few metrics. Basically GDP, the euro has beat expectations, while Japan actually fell short, including retail sales. Europe in general has exceeded forecast, while Japan lagged. Inflation, CPI for Europe ticked up to 2%, while Japan's dropped from 2.5 to 2.5 from 2.7%. Okay, employment, Europe saw a slight miss, but Japan's employment data saw a large dip, which is why I think this bounce off of this support is really likely, or this support right here, we could see bounces off of that level, and we can see price continue up into 164, or even up to retest this major resistance at 166. Okay, if we do break beneath it, of course, definitely be looking for shorts down into 158, so as a reaction to go higher if we do come down to this. I'd say it's a pretty established support. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week. Any questions, just hit me up in the Tricks Prop Discord, and I'll be there to talk to you about trading. Okay, keep it simple, keep it clean. All right, I'll see you guys next week. See ya.